Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, my dad wants my kids. EM wants me to take out student loans for our family vacation. My dad thinks I should help pay bills. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My dad wants my kids. So I 27F am no contact with my dad and have been for about 5 years. I had him blocked on everything except email until a few weeks ago. I never check my email, but on a whim I was looking through and stumbled on an email he sent me a little over a month ago. In the email he basically demanded that I talk to him and work out our differences. He essentially talked to me like I was 10 and he can just order his way back into my life. Then in the same email he threatened me, saying if I don't speak to him he's going to take me to court for grandparents' right to get access to my kids. On one hand I'm floored and so shocked that he thinks talking to me that way will make me want him back in my life. But on the other hand it's hilarious because I don't have any kids. Nor do I want them. What a clueless, useless, garbage person. Edit to add. I'm thinking he's assuming I have kids because I was engaged when I cut contact. I hope he does take you to court for grandparents' rights. I want to see the judge's reaction to his demand for grandparents' rights to see kids that don't exist. Bonus points if you show up to court with a bunch of pets and tearfully be like, Your Honor, he's never shown any interest in Mr. Buttons before now. Not even when he was seriously ill as a kitten. And now he threatens me to see his grandcat. Ahaha this. Anyone who knows me knows my cats are above all. Oh my gosh. This. I don't usually encourage wasting time/money with courts and crap, but this is a fantastic idea and will absolutely show your dad and the rest of the world what a total piece of shit he is. Ha 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 ha. I'd probably answer with a "I'll see you in court." It would be hilarious if he actually tried it. Let him take you to court. Watch the judge's face light up with fervent glee. Read, incredulous fury, when discovery reveals that he demanded access to children that don't exist. Because that's just what hypothetical children need, a douchebag who's so entitled that they don't bother to check and see if the children they allegedly want access to even exist. If it didn't also waste my time and the judges and anyone else involved, I so would. Imagine demanding that you work out your differences XD. Right? He knows we don't see eye to eye on most things, so he's just delusional. If I were you, I would hope he does sue. Counterclaim for the attorney fees, and when his attorney shows up to tell the judge how caring he is, how cruel you are, and how he just wants access to the grandchildren he loves so much, let your attorney point out that this caring, engaged, loving man is full of shit. Because these grandchildren he's so worked up about don't exist. And then ask the judge for a restraining order and legal fees. I've considered a restraining order, but I don't think I have enough to get one granted. He's not violent and I'm not afraid of him, I just want to be left alone. Call his bluff. Write back and say that he's totally right, and you, your mother-in-law and your 5 children all have nowhere to go but by his side for the rest of his life to make up for all this lost time. Tell him you're packing your things now and are moving in with him so he can parent you as you always needed him to. And since he's so good at this, you thought your kids could do with his guidance as well. Your mother-in-law just wanted to be in the presence of such a gifted man, so she's on too. Man, Dad. I'm so glad we're all in this together. See what happens. If he gives you his address, mail him a box of shit. With gratitude. I would definitely do this if he didn't live with my grandparents. He might know it's a bluff, but either way he would stress them out with the thought of 10 people in one double-wide trailer. Does your father have some kind of dementia? This sounds delusional. Not that I'm aware of, but he's around enough people and nurses on a regular occasion so he's not in any immediate harm or anything. Well, this would never get to court because you'd just file a response saying you don't have any kids. It would be dropped immediately. However, it would make for a nice legal trail if you ever did have kids one day. You could point to that and make a case your father has been struggling with what you perceive is early onset dementia, so in your opinion it wouldn't be safe to let them visit. Why does he just assume you have kids? Is he one of those who think we all have to follow the same life script? Anyway, as some others have said, let him waste his time doing it. Will be hilarious. My mom that I'm no contact with did the same thing. Before I wised up and blocked her number, she texted me saying she would take me to court for grandparents' rights. I don't have kids and never will, and she's well aware of that fact. EM wants me to take out student loans for our family vacation. This was a few years ago, when I was still in contact with my mother, the EM. I'm proud to say I've went very low contact since then. So when I first started college, I would split the weekends between both of my parents. I would stay overnight Friday at my dad's since he and my paternal grandparents were the only ones who would offer to pick me up, and then stay Saturday overnight at my mom's. After I got to my dad's, my mom supposedly really wanted to talk to me about setting up loans in person to make it easier. I had a very high GPA and a really high ACT score, so aid covered quite a bit of my expenses, but there was still about another $4,000 a year we just couldn't cover. Since my grandparents offered to pay the full $2,000 of one semester, we just needed to set up a loan for the remaining $2,000. When we get there, she wants to talk to me alone about my loans, leaving my dad out on the porch. When I sit down, she has the aid website pulled up and is logged into her parent account. She then says that we need to log me in to accept the amount of aid. I say sure, let me make sure we have the right amount. She is trying to take out a loan in my name for $8,000, but the website required my permission. We can't even afford the $2,000 as three people with our own incomes, so I ask her why the hell she's trying to take out a loan for that much. Her answer? Well, I figured we could take a better vacation this year and then we can all make payments on it. People of Reddit, my parents have been divorced for years. Dad has never been invited on a family vacation, but he would have needed to pay more than $2,500 himself for a vacation he can't take. Not only that, but I'm a student with no income for half the year. When I asked how we were supposed to afford to pay that back, she wanted my paternal grandparents to cover what me and Dad couldn't, and she would play the lottery, and if that doesn't work, they could pick up her remaining debt. Needless to say, she was dumbstruck and pissed to hear that I wouldn't authorize that loan and that any loan in my name would go only to my schooling. So, to get me back, she backs out of paying my loans. I say fine, I didn't want her or Dad to anyways because my little brother needs to be their focus. Well, this makes it worse, and she kicks me out, tells me I'll be homeless, with my dad waiting outside to take me home. Shockingly, it didn't have the effect she wanted it to. Just a hunch, but I take it she's the reason your parents divorced? Wow, is it that obvious? You aren't gonna guess the reason though. Did you tell your dad about all of this? He sounds like he'd be completely on your side, thankfully. I'm sorry man, but that's unacceptable and reprehensible she would even consider. That is horrendous parenting. Never let that woman near your finances. Your mom definitely has issues. Never bend a knee in front of her. If you do, she will climb on top of your head. Wow. Your mother is crazy for doing this. Glad you are VLC and your dad having your back. You can use student loans money for other purposes other than paying for tuition? I don't think so, which makes this worse. My mom herself has loans she's supposed to be paying back. Did she think they just mailed me $8,000? But also, this was me as a freshman college student with no idea how things worked. I relied on my mom for that information since she had been to college, and she claimed she knew all about it. Obviously, after this incident, I went home and did my own research on how it worked, and there's some loans like that, but we were getting a traditional student loan, meaning only applied to school. My dad thinks I should help pay bills. I just got my first job today. I start Monday and I told my dad this. I am 16. Up until today, only because I haven't seen him today, every time I go to this house he makes jokes about sucking up his air conditioning and eat his food, so I'm gonna need to help around the house. Which he means like paying a bill. And it's gotten to the point where he sounds more and more serious about it every time I mentioned applying to places. He likes to tell me that I owe him because he's spent 16 years spending money on me and it's my turn to help. I don't owe him anything. I literally didn't even ask to be here. But now that I have a job, I can choose if I want to live with mom or dad, so I'm just gonna start living full-time with my mom. That way he doesn't have to worry about paying for me. I hate when parents tell their kids they owe them for what the parent is legally obligated to do. No, you don't owe him anything. Get out of there, if possible. If Opie lives with their mother full-time, can the mother get an adjustment in child support? My dad said, "I'm only your dad till you turn 18" to me. Yes, definitely move with your mom. You don't owe him anything, it is his job to take care of you. If he was saying you pay for your own phone or like a car or something, that's different, not pay his bills. My mom pays for my phone and I plan on helping her with that. Plus she's helping me buy a car, we're going 50-50ths on it, so that's where my money will be going. Any decent parent would want their child to have as much in savings as possible in preparation for adulthood. The fact that he's even thinking about taking money from you for bills says he's a shitty parent. Go live with your mom full-time. I hope she's getting child support and that he has to pay her more. He chose to have a child and it's his responsibility to care for you. Helping your dad out with bills is fine, but he has this very crappy and entitled you owe me attitude. He should encourage you to start saving for college or investing in a retirement account to learn how to manage money instead of making you become the adult. I don't blame you for moving in with your mom. I'd probably never speak to my dad again if he had this attitude towards me. Your parents are supposed to provide for you until 18. Yeah, I know that. He knows that too, which is why the day we turn 18 he plans on kicking us out unless we pay rent. Even if we're in school. So ick. You're absolutely right. You don't have to go stay with your dad if he's making you feel unwanted and a burden. So don't. If he makes waves about it, tell him that he was so hard up monetarily that he was asking you for rent, so you thought you'd cut him a break and just stop visiting him. Let him feel bad for being like this if he's able to. As a parent myself, my thoughts on kids, grown and otherwise, is that they don't owe me anything other than love and affection. Let's say I fell on hard times and was struggling financially. They could choose to help me out financially, but it would be their choice to do so, not something they're obliged to do. Manipulating and guilting them into it wouldn't truly make it a choice, so I have no interest in that. If anything, I would want them to keep their money and try and put it to use to make their lives better. I certainly wouldn't want to feel like I'm a financial burden to them, just as much they aren't a financial burden right now as minors. Even if your dad was having monetary difficulties, this is something he should discuss with your mom. One of the outcomes could be a reduction to your visitation custody, child support that he currently pays, etc. But trying to guilt you into giving him money is definitely the worst way to tackle said problem. As a parent, I would have my child pay rent, but would actually put that money into an account for him so he has it for when he's older and feels ready to live on his own. I also will not mind, when my son becomes an adult, him coming over to raid the fridge or take TP if he needs it. My being a parent doesn't stop after my child turns 18. The only thing I expect from my child is to be a kind, caring, semi-responsible, respectful and compassionate human being. I say semi-responsible, because let's be real, we all have our moments lol. I would for sure move in with your mom, because it sounds like your dad's giving off a loser, with a capital L, rhymes with you suck vibe. I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. Hope everything gets better for you. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.